Hi, this is Sally. Welcome to another episode of Drive-In Dishes. Today is going to be really exciting for you because we are going to make a really amazing dish, a dessert, basbousa. And basbousa is actually we're going to make it for the fast. So there's nothing in here that is inappropriate for the fast. No milk, no butter, no eggs. It's going to be perfect. Actually, I prefer this version of basbousa to the other version all year long. Tastes much better, I think. And it's actually not that hard to make. So the ingredients that you see here, we're basically going to dump it into a big bowl, mix it all together, and put it in the pan. The only tricky part is learning how to make simple syrup. But the good thing is once we learn how to make simple syrup today, we're going to use it for so many other desserts, like baklava, kunafa, all that stuff. You use the same simple syrup, even for creme caramel. Once you get the hang of it, no problem with anything else. And that's going to be the only tricky part today, and it really only takes 2 ingredients, which is sugar and water. We're going to get to that later, though. Right now, what we're going to start doing is we're going to mix all the ingredients together for the basbousa. Because once we mix the ingredients together, we're going to put in the oven, and then the simple syrup is going to go at the end. So we're going to make it, well, after the basbousa is cooled off, we're going to put hot syrup on cooled basbousa. Okay? All right, here we go. So this is what you need. This is cream of wheat or farina. Okay, it's a 14-ounce box, 2.5-minute cook time. This is perfect. If you want to do it the old-fashioned way and go to the Middle Eastern grocery store and get semolina, that's okay too. But this is so easy to get at the grocery store. So we're going to dump the whole box into this bowl, okay? That's it. Next thing we're going to do is I've gotten my Cool Whip out of the freezer and it's softened up a little bit because we're going to mix it in, so we want it slightly soft. I'm only using about half a tub, so this turns out to be about 8 ounces of Cool Whip. Now remember, your Cool Whip is non-dairy, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, so we're going to dump 8 ounces of Cool Whip right onto this farina. And like I said, you want it soft, so don't worry if it melted a little bit. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, we've got a cup of shredded coconut. We're going to pour a cup here. So this is a cup total. All right, and then we're going to do a cup of sugar on top of all of this. And mix the whole thing together until it's really mixed well into a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous basically means it's all the same throughout, okay? I'm going to show you here what this looks like. Once that Cool Whip is softened up, it's pretty easy to mix it. Okay, this is our pan that we're going to use. We need to grease that pan. You could do it a couple of different ways. You can just use cooking spray to grease that pan. You can use a little bit of Crisco. You don't want to use oil. I don't think that would taste very good. But what I like to use is the cooking spray that has flour in it because it makes everything just pop right out after you take it out of the oven. All right, so we've mixed this all up. We have our greased pan. It's about 9 to 12 inches. If it's a little bit bigger or smaller, it doesn't make that much of a difference. And we're going to pour the whole thing in. Okay? There's that nice basbousa. And then we're going to use a spatula, and we're going to spread it out all over our pan to make it nice and even. And again, this is so easy. The pan is already greased. It'll smooth right out. See, you just want to make it nice and even. All right, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so we're going to make it nice and perfect here. All right, there you go. So easy, right? So we can do the next step a couple of different ways. We have to have the almonds on top, and there's two different ways that we like to do it. We'll either just pour a bunch of slivered almonds on top. You need about 2 ounces of slivered almonds. You could pour the whole thing on top, or you can, and I like to use a ruler because I like everything straight. You can measure out your diamond shapes, because basbousa is traditionally cut into diamond shapes, and I like to do it about 2 inches. So, you know, just, and you're not going to cut all the way through. This is not to cut the pieces, just to score the pieces. Okay, just to get an idea of where each of your diamonds are going to fall. Then you're going to do about 2-inch diagonal lines to give you your diamond-shaped basbousa. Okay? All right. So, personally, I like to just throw the almonds on top. You get more almonds that way, but if you wanted to, the traditional way is to stick an almond sticking up in the middle of each basbousa, just like that. Okay? But I like to just pour the whole thing over it. Get a lot more almonds that way. It looks pretty. Okay, and by the way, our oven's been set to 350 degrees. We're going to press the almonds in just a little bit, so that they stick. All right, very easy, right? So here, this is what it looks like when we've spread the almonds on top. Pretty, huh? All right, so we're going to stick the pan of basbousa into our 350 degree oven. And then we're going to come back later once the basbousa is cooked for about, or baked for about 25 to 30 minutes. You want to see the top of the basbousa nice and golden, okay? And if you let it go just a little bit past golden, like golden brown, that way it doesn't fall apart when you eat it, okay? Because we're still going to put the syrup on later. And we're going to take the basbousa out of the oven, cool it till it's completely cool, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make the simple syrup, because the simple syrup has got to be hot when it goes onto your cool basbousa. So we'll be back. All right, welcome back. We're going to do the simple syrup now. And remember, for basbousa, we're going to put hot syrup on the cooled basbousa. Changes a little bit with the baklava and the kunafa, you know, when you pour the syrup, whether it's on the cooled baklava, but right now we're just working on basbousa. So we've got half a cup of water in my pot. We're going to put a cup of sugar on it. All right, and then we are going to put it on the stove, about medium-high heat. What we want here, we want the sugar to dissolve, but we want the sugar to dissolve, and we want the syrup basically to turn clear. So we're going to stir it for a little bit, help the sugar to dissolve. Once it completely dissolves, take the spoon out, and you're going to put a half teaspoon of lemon juice, pour it right into the syrup. That keeps the sugar from precipitating out of the syrup, so that you get a nice, clear, homogeneous syrup. So we're going to let that sit for a while, get our lemon juice ready. It's just going to take a couple of minutes for the sugar to completely dissolve. We'll get our lemon juice ready. So we only need about half a teaspoon of lemon juice, so it's really just going to be a quick squeeze. Take our seeds out so we don't get any seeds in the syrup. Okay. Once this dissolves completely, we're going to put our lemon juice on, and then we're going to let it come to a boil and let it simmer for like a minute. We're going to take it off the stove at that point, and you're done, okay? Once the basbousa comes out of the oven, it's cooled off, you take your hot syrup. You're not going to let the syrup cool off. And you pour it right onto the basbousa, and I'll show you how later. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. We're going to take the basbousa out of the oven now. See how golden that is when it comes out of the oven? So if you just get it a little bit dry at the edges like that, that way it doesn't get too crumbly when you put the syrup on it. All right, and then we're going to wait until we cool it off. So we'll be back when it's all cooled off. Okay. So now we're back. Our basbousa has completely cooled off. We've got our hot syrup here. Now, the last ingredient is vanilla. And you can do this a couple of different ways. You can add the vanilla to the syrup, just a teaspoon, or you can put it into the mix before you even bake it. But now we're going to add it right to the syrup. Teaspoon of vanilla right into the syrup. Okay? And you won't have to do much mixing there. It's pretty much blends right in. Now, we're going to pour the syrup, and notice I haven't recut it, okay? I like to cut it after the syrup is soaked in. So we're going to pour the syrup right on the basbousa. That should be enough. Okay. So we've put the syrup on the basbousa. We need to let it soak in. We need to let it cool off. And then we'll cut it up into our diamond shapes again and eat it. All right, بالهنا والشفا, and we'll see you with the next episode.